Hello, and welcome to this week's Devil the Detail podcast. I'm Rob Paxton, and we're here talking all things Salford Red Devils. Joining the show this week, as ever, we've got Paul Parkin. Right, Parkin, how has your week been so far?
Evening, Rob. Yeah, it's been quite good. Really enjoyable. Obviously, we had the supporters trust meeting last night, which was fantastic. I dare say we can, have a little chat about that. But that was a really good night. Well attended, and the players, both from the male and female teams, were a credit and a joy to speak to. Yeah, I've just been enjoying the sun, really. Lovely day today, so we've got a few jobs done. And obviously, following on from Friday night's win, I've been walking around with a smile on my face anyway, so it's good. Yeah, I've picked up a bit of a cold, so if anyone detects any sort of changes in my voice or anything like that as we go on, that's all it is. It's not COVID. I'm okay. We're all right. I've tested for that. Just a common cold for a common person, but yeah, no, I'm good. I've had a great time. Your week going well?
Yeah, I won a ball on the Salford Devils Foundation table on Friday. So after a few weeks of failure, I've come up with the big win for my son. And then weekend, Washer packed up, so I had to get another one. But Kurt Haggerty's best mate delivered it for me, which was great because he was like, he saw me wearing a Salford shirt and he was like, "Oh, is that rugby or football?" And I was like, "Rugby." And he went, "My mate Kurt Haggerty is your assistant coach." And I was like, "I do the podcast. I do the fans podcast for that team." And he was like, "Oh," didn't get his name, but it was a big unit. I think if he wasn't delivering washing machines, he'd be playing in the second row. He physically picked up this washing machine by himself and just dumped it in my kitchen. So we had a little chat about that. So that was good.
Wow.
So that was a bit of a weird coincidence that I bumped into Kurt Haggerty's best mate.
Very much so. Funnily enough, I was talking to one of my mates today whose friend, his business partner is, I think it's Kurt Haggerty's brother-in-law. How strange is that?
He's here. Not mentioned.
He's
for
everywhere.
Weeks, and suddenly gets two mentions in one podcast.
Yeah, it's just like the back of a win. He's become very popular.
Yeah. So so that was my week, Parker. So loads going on this week. We're going to look back at the victory against Leeds. We're going to look at the reserve team's defeat against Wakefield. Got all the big news coming out of the club this week, and then we've got Paul's look at the world of rugby league, and then we're going to preview the games against Featherstone Lionesses and Wigan in the Challenge Cup this weekend. So we'll start with the victory against Leeds Rhinos.
You're listening to Devil in the Detail, and this is your big match review.
So Salford Red Devils were victorious at the AJ Bell on Friday. They beat Leeds Rhinos 24 points to 12. Parky, great win for Paul Rowley's men.
Excellent win. Really good. Worked really hard for. Well deserved, by the way. It wasn't by luck. We stuck in there in that arm wrestle for the full game. In the last 20 minutes, I think we got what we deserved out of it. I think we were the better team anyway. I know Leeds had quite a bit of ball and led for most of the game, but for me, they didn't feel too much like a threat. I didn't see anything that worried me at times. It was just us getting it right. Controlling the ball a little bit more, using it a bit wiser. And just keeping calm. I always had the feeling we could turn it around when we were behind. And so I mean, an excellent result. Any win against Leeds for us as Salford fans, as we all know too well, it doesn't happen that often. So but a richly deserved win. A lot was said leading up to the game, wasn't it, about Richard Agar's position and the fact that Leeds needed this win. They got off to a terrible start, and they were going to come to our place. And I think the bookies probably had them favourites. I didn't really have a look, but no, well deserved and hard fought win. And that last 20 minutes was a joy as a Salford fan. I think as soon as we got in front, I knew the game was over. There was the momentum shift was huge in that game, and once we started controlling the ball and just staying calm, not panicking as much as we seemed to, we took the game away from them and some really, really good individual performances.
Yeah, fantastic result against Leeds. We're joined by Paul Whiteside as well, Paul. Just talking about the victory against Leeds. Great result for Paul Rowley's men. Obviously, it could have been very different. They had a double movement try disallowed. Ash Handley early doors could have been a big sort of a game changer, that. But we weathered the storm. Great in defence as well after the last couple of weeks. And Paul Rowley chuffed to bits.
Yeah. Well, that going back to that try was a double movement. I thought they were going to give that, and it would have been a bit of a travesty if it was, because he definitely made a second effort. So yeah, I enjoyed the game. I thought it was a really good match. I mean, I've read a few match reports from our friends over the hill in Yorkshire, and I don't know where they come from. Sometimes some of the stuff that's written, it's absolute garbage. I thought it was a really good arm wrestling. You know, if you asked any of those players after that game how tough that game was, it must have been taxing on the bodies. They really put the bodies on the line, and yeah, the last 20 minutes, it was a joy to watch, really. As Parky said, it really was. I mean, we've not beat Leeds that many times. I mean, you count on one hand how many times I've seen us beat Leeds at home. And I thought we showed an awful lot of character there to come back. And, you know, confidence is low. We'd lost 3 games on the spin. And, you know, you're playing not a bad side, Leeds. They've got some big names in there and a big pack of forwards. And I thought we showed an awful lot of character there. Backs against the wall, you know, trailing. And Joe Burgess come up with a massive play. And we scored some cracking tries there. That try where Atkins scored in the corner, I mean, lost Ken CO there. And, you know, it was great backing up. And King Bunny Yaya charging through. I mean, it really put a smile. I watched it back with Imogen on Sunday, and we were both jumping around the front room, even though we knew what the score was. So yeah, it was brilliant. I really enjoyed the night.
Yeah, I think they hung in fantastically. No silly penalties, sort of very disciplined. And I thought, Parky, obviously, on this podcast, we have the podcast bingo, and I've got a new acronym to add to that. It's called GPI, which is Gameplay Intelligence. And I thought, because obviously Paul Rowley has a lot to talk about when he talks about letting the players play what they see. And I thought on Friday against Leeds that the players did that very, very well.
Yeah, I think they spent most of the game probably looking and probing and trying to work out how best to get around Leeds, because they were pretty well structured in defence. To be fair to them, it's not a great Leeds team at the moment. Some really good individuals, don't get me wrong, but as a team, they're not clicking at all. Maybe the events following the game might help them in that way, but no, you're right. I think they started to identify little areas of the game where we could exploit, and certainly in that second half, we kept coming to the left-hand side a lot with Tim Laffey and Burgess on that wing, and we were causing lots of problems. I thought Tim Laffey was tremendous, a wonderful effort from him, and he was limping for quite a bit of the back end of the second half. He seemed to have picked up a knot, but just carried on. And I think we'd worked out how to beat them. And I think we just stretched them across the pitch, and they just couldn't keep up in the end. We looked fitter than they did, I thought, and stronger. And considering and I'll be one of them, the stick they've given our pack this year, massive credit, absolutely massive, because we really muscled up and won that battle. And once you win that forward battle, you look at our back line, and we've said it all along, I think it's as good as anybody's. You can get the ball out to these lads. We're going to score tries, open up a bit of space, and that's what we did. And it was that intelligent. I mean, like Paul. I mean, I got back on Friday night and I put it straight on. It was back on, and there was nothing else going on in the world that night. And watching Brodie Croft and the little things he does in his position and his knowledge, with Sneyd controlling the game as he does. But him just adding them little classy touches, just knowing where to be at what point and when to deliver that ball, and that ball to put King through that gap. I mean, timing is just perfect. If he gets that wrong, the big man probably gets two players in his face and gets leathered. He just timed it to perfection, straight through, and then off the back of that we score. So yeah, it was intelligent all the way through the game, I thought. And like I say, we just worked them out, and we stayed in the arm wrestle long enough. We kept them out. We didn't let them get away from us. I mean, that disallowed try early on could have made a difference, because the referees give it on the park. If there's no video, it's a different game. I know we got one disallowed that he'd give a try for. He's worrying for a referee, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Rob. I think the brains trust as it is in that halfback and Andy Ackers really got us around the pitch and won us the game.
Yeah, glad you mentioned Brodie Croft. Fantastic in defence, defending in the centre when Kensio went off, Paul. And I've questioned Brodie Croft's GPI, and for me, Atkins' try shows how good Brodie Croft is, because he's tracking across the field and he targets the edge defender, which creates space on the outside for a score. And it was magical. And I thought to myself, you know what? He's not half bad, this kid.
No, and like we said recently, he's had to do an awful lot of defence, hasn't he, in matches, and he got a bit more freedom in that second half to do what he does best, and that was a smashing try. That it really was. It was one side of the field. I mean, Joe Burgess did the business, took the ball away, and then the ball went from one side of the pitch to the other before Leeds could even realise what day it was, and that's after you'd lost Kensio as well. I mean, Chris Atkin finished it really well there, and it was a shame to see Kensio go off. He's failed his head assessment as well, and I was gutted for Ken because he's try scoring feats this season have been great, haven't they? So we'll have to do without him next week. But no, it was good, and it was good for Brodie Croft as well, because you're getting tired out every week doing loads of defence, and people start questioning you, saying, "Oh, he's not doing now. He's not doing this. He's not doing that." But he was not being allowed to do it because the forwards weren't building that platform. And you've just said there, you both nailed it. If 9 times out of 10, if your forwards get on the front foot and win that battle, you'd probably go on and win the game because you've got the backs to win the game. But if the forwards don't, like they didn't against Hull KR, it was a different result. There's no way on God's earth that Hull KR are any better than Leeds, I don't think, really. Probably about a similar sort of side. But look at the result. Forwards won the game for Hull KR, and we didn't put an hand on Abdul all night, did we? But yeah, I thought the forwards were great. I thought King Vuniaya was probably the best on the pitch. I thought Alex Girard, again, he takes some stopping. I like that kid. I think he's really good and has probably played himself into the starting team every week, really. Elijah Taylor was immense. Thought Shane Wright stepped up this week as well. All of them, thought they all did really well.
Yeah, I think Sky Sports did a podcast with Mark Sneed, Brodie Croft, and Ryan Briley, and he talked about how Rowley wants them to play Parker, and Brodie Croft was like, I can't believe this. We're learning how to play, and it kind of showed for me on Friday, how good he is really. But also another person I thought who was good, Joe Burgess, the Rolls Royce of a winger, I call him, Parker. Fantastic 20 restart to get the ball moving forward for that try.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't like singling anything out, but that probably was the game changer, or at least the clincher in that way. Smart thinking, really smart. We know how good Joe Burgess is. He was great at Wigan. Very surprised they let him go. I'm obviously delighted, but we've not got to see the best of him with injuries and everything else. And on Friday night, he showed us exactly what he can do. His brain, to switch on quickly, catch that ball in goal. I mean, he was faultless all game. But then to make that break, which just, set up the game, and that ruined Leeds. That took all the wind out of him. Very, very smart. I know Paul Rowley was delighted with his performance. And, you can say that moment probably did change the game. There were a lot of incidents in that game that changed it. A lot of individual performances which contributed to that, but that one moment, it gets you out your seat to start with when you see a winger flying down the flank. It's something we as Salford fans, I don't think we've ever seen enough of, or certainly not in the last few years, even though we've had decent wingers. But he made that himself, and he made a few breaks, and he's done it quite a bit this season, and I'm delighted for him. I want him to get a bit of confidence and hopefully a good run. Because obviously, like I said, them injuries obviously set him back a little bit too much last season. But yeah, a magical moment that, and took the game, away from Leeds for us.
And what about that in and out by Dion Cross, Paul? Unbelievable moment that, obviously he's come as a winger, but showing world class centre skills there.
Yeah, and he's another guy that probably come under the radar a bit, really. I mean, he come from Widnes, and with the back line we've got, you think, oh, perhaps he'd be a bit of a bit part player, but he took that position. He was tremendous against Castleford, and he played really well in the friendlies and all. And he's took that and he's made himself sort of nailed on in the first team now for me. He's got a first class attitude and good luck to him. And as for Joe Burge, I think he's the same. He's won trophies at Wigan, but I don't think you can question his commitment or anything at Salford. I think he's coming, and you can tell by the way he's on the pitch. His attitude is first class. He wants to do well. He's been unlucky with injuries and bits of confidence and that, but it's great to finally see him now. Last few weeks, Paul Rowley said at the press conference, he was saying about him being one of the best wingers in the comp and playing for England. And two of the journalists sort of scoffed at it, really. And I was glad Paul Rowley put him in the place. He said, no, I'm not. I'm serious. I'm deadly serious. Because he does. He backs his players, Rowley. I mean, if someone sort of asks him something stupid like that, he backs his players 100%. And it's good to see, because why not? Why not Joe Burgess for the World Cup? Because he's quality. He's 6'3", like Rowley said. 6'3". He's good in the air. He's got loads of pace. He's a good defender. He's quality, and he can finish as well. So yeah, he was excellent. He really was. And like you say, Rolls Royce winger, and we've got a Porsche on the other side, haven't we? We can't see him.
Obviously, a little bit of a downside for me, Parker. Leeds were down to 12 men for sort of 20-25 minutes. Only managed to score 2 points and concede 2. That is obviously, we come out with a win. Everyone's still joyous, but it must be a concern for Paul Rowley that the brains trust couldn't break them down at that point.
Yeah, I did mention it in the game at the time, and I was a bit disappointed when they got back up to the full complement that we hadn't made the most of it. But when you watch it back, you realise how much damage we actually did without scoring in that period. When you're down to 12 men and how much work you've got to do, we had a lot of ball, and we made them work, and we pushed Leeds around the pitch. Like I was saying before about when we're getting out wide to Tim Laffey and Joe Burgess out wide, and it made them shift, and it made their big forwards have to do a lot more work, and going down to 12 men is not going to be easy anyway. And I just thought we were smart with what we did. We turned them around with kicks, and we kept them, on the toes all the time. We didn't do damage, as in with the scoreboard, but that was going to come later. And that's what's going to keep happening to every team. If you keep losing players later in games, you're going to suffer. And that last 20 minutes, I mean, they'd run out of gas completely, I think. And I mean, it's the same against Hull KR, to be fair. We were terrible in that first half, going 18 down. The second half, once we realised what to do, we worked Hull KR over, and they were blowing. They got that try later on and won them the game. But it just took us a little bit too much time to get into that game. With Leeds, we stayed in it all the way through, and we just tired them out. And it was only when I got home and watched the game again that I realised what had happened. Because I was like, what you said there. I was saying to my brother at the time, we've wasted that. We've had them down, from just before half time, 10 minutes into the second half, and done nothing with it. But we actually did, and that's what it's going to tell. And keeping the ball alive, working them around the park. And it'll pay off later in the game if you stay in the game. And that's what we did.
Yeah. You spoke to Paul Rowley after the game. Paul, and this is what you had to say. So that was Paul Rowley talking to you after the game, Paul, and he was happy with the performance.
I'm joined by Paul Rowley. A big performance tonight, big 20 minutes. You tell in the press conference you're pretty pleased with that, mate?
Yeah, I'm chuffed. I'm pleased for the players. I'm pleased for the supporters. It's a good day all round, because we filled the stadium. It was full full of the next generation of Salford fans, and they loved it. They were singing. They hung around at the end for the autographs of the players. So we took Leeds on up the middle, to be honest, and they put their best pack starting in an effort to blow us off the park, because we've not started well last couple of games. So we looked the enemy in the eye and took them on up the middle. So huge credit to the players for doing that. Showed tremendous bravery and spirit and patience as well to to chip away all through the game and get the rewards at the end. So really pleased.
King Bunny Iowa, big minutes again. Another player that impressed me, I think I said this last week, Alex Girard. He's come in there, you started him tonight. You must have been impressed with your pack this week.
Yeah, they all did a stint, and you're right, Alex Girard was probably our best player last week, and he's come on. He's really efficient, he's a clever footballer. So I'm impressed with them all. I could go through the whole team today and give you positives on them all. So really delighted. Big moment when Joe Burgess broke through and settled that try. Huge moment from a world-class player. So that's the bit that'll stick in my head more than anything, I think.
You were just saying there in the press conference about Joe Burgess being consistent this season. He's been class every week. You're saying there he's good enough for England, and I think you're right. He looks the part, doesn't he? He's a quality player.
I know I'm right, 100%. Yeah, he is. He's got everything. What's he not got? He's got speed. He's got size. He's got the will to win. He's tough. So, and he's doing it consistently week in, week out. And if anyone wants to ask, then I'll tell you he's a consistent performer in training as well. His standards are very high. He's ambitious, so his character's good, and what he does on the field's good. So, I've got no dramas. If it needs saying, it needs saying.
Ken Seo scored again this week. He did fail his head assessment, so he'll miss next week, will he now? Yeah,
he'll miss next week. So shame really, because. I know Chris pinched one of his tries, hasn't he?
Because put him on the wing next week. Then,
yeah. So Chris skid in the corner in Ken Seo fashion, but yeah. So Ken's all right, which is the main thing. But he did fail his head test, and we will miss him, which is a huge loss. But I don't know if we jinxed him, because I was only talking to Rhys Williams yesterday and giving him some. Positive chat really, because he's been a third winger in any club's a bit like a reserve goalie. It's a tough job, and you've got to be patient. And I don't know if we jinxed a winger tonight, but might just be the opportunity that Rhys Williams gets now. So
a nice moment for Ryan Brierley. Stood over there talking. Now I enjoyed that. He's had a tough week last couple of weeks, didn't he? Got a bit of stick, and it was nice to see him go. Well, he played well today.
Yeah, I don't know about stick. He's not had any stick off me. He gets on his feedback and he accepts it, and he stops sulking after 3 days, and then but obviously it's no secret we have a great relationship, and I back him to the hilt. So got a bit of a unfortunate one with his pass early doors, and then come up with a try saving tackle immediately after it. So he's a player who you want on the front foot. When he's on the front foot, he comes up with big moments, and he saved a try. He put a kick in that was absolutely outstanding. So he's come up with some big moments, and I thought it was fantastic. But yeah, like I say, it's hard to judge them sort of players when you're getting steamrolled. You've got no territory, and we've been well beat prior to tonight in all areas. So tonight, to be on the front foot, you see the best of him. So it's not rocket science.
Going back to that pass. Is that the kind of rugby you want your team? Obviously not to drop the ball, but you want your team to be ambitious, don't they? I think that's the way you set up, don't you, to play?
Well, if it's there, then play it. Yeah, it's not reckless. It's manipulated situations, which everybody does. So, but it was good to show a different side to our attack today. We went straight up the middle. I don't think probably anybody saw that coming. But we did it, and we did it consistently for 80 minutes, and we made lots of meters, and we did well. So we can adapt. We've got clever players, and we work hard. So, and we'll continue to do so. We won't waver in our belief. See you later, Danny. Just saying bye to.
No worries.
You've been there too long now. They're going.
Sorry, Paul. Wigan in the cup next week, mate. It won't keep much longer.
Yeah.
Big game in the Challenge Cup. Bit of confidence though now. You can see a bit of confidence flowing there in the team, and Salford wins over Leeds are pretty rare, and it was a nice evening that tonight. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did too.
They're a massive club, Leeds, aren't they? They're a brand, and so to get them here and win is great, and everybody can have a really good weekend now with a bit of smile on the face
and a good attendance as well.
Great attendance, so we didn't miss that opportunity. So and you know what, lo and behold, the sun's been shining as well, hasn't it? So there's a lot of reasons to be happy this weekend. But yeah, around the corner, different competition. Got some busted boys from tonight, so I think we'll miss a few at Wigan. So that'll be the challenge. Always will be here. But yeah, it's we go to Wigan, huge match, and see what we can do there. And then we've got they come thick and fast. Then all the big boys are around the corner. So even more important that we got the 2 tonight.
You enjoy your weekend, Paul. You deserve it. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
He was, happy that us fans experienced that fantastic win.
Yeah, he was ready to get off as well, wasn't he? I had to grab hold of him because, I think what happened was the press conference went on that long, didn't it? Because Richard Agar went in first, and I felt so sorry for Richard Agar because he got absolutely grilled. And again, I don't know where some people come up with the questions. They were like after trying to get him to resign, weren't they, on the spot? And he's a really honest guy. I mean, we've been to a few press conferences. He's been coach at Leeds, and I like the way he talks. He's not. A lot of coaches sort of blame this, blame that, blame the other, and he was honest in that. So yeah, we had to wait a while for Paul Rowley to come in, didn't we? And then I think he wanted to get off and get a cup of tea. I think so after the win.
Well, yeah, he was fun. He was really happy. He talked about the spirit and the patience and the pack performance against Leeds, Paul. And obviously we questioned the discipline. There was none of that this week. They kept the 13 men on the field, and that's an important aspect. Yeah,
and the 6 to go. I think I was keeping a tally of them this week. I think it was 10-4, or was it 10-3 or something like that. So he did. I think it stemmed to me from the contact in defence. I thought the contact in defence was a lot better. We was more dominant in the tackle, I think, particularly in that second half. Anyway, it was a good arm wrestle. It really was. It was 2 physical sides, and you had to be physical to beat Leeds because they've got a big pack of forwards. And we mentioned like Aledzki and Reece Martin, the big men, and we sorted them out really. So we're very, very pleased in that, and the way we managed the game was really good. And yeah, Paul Rowley was chuffed. It was a good result for us. And I was listening to the people on Sky, and I don't know, they made me laugh a bit, really. It was like we won the league, the way they were going. And I thought, hang on a minute, it's about building now for me. Yeah. Once swallowed up make a summer. I mean, that's a good win against Leeds, but if you go and get beat at Wakefield in a couple of weeks, it's no. We've got to use that as a benchmark now to go forward.
I agree with Paul, and he talked about Joe Burgess, potential England chances. We all know obviously the class he's got, and he said that he's in with a shot.
Yeah, well, I mean the thing is, you're still early in the season, and you see it all the time with. I mean, you see it quite a lot in football, don't you? There's always a surprise comes up later on in the season, or a player comes through. If Joe stays fit, like he said, there, he's as good as any winger in the league. You've got a few nailed on players, probably like a Tommy Makinson or something like that, who's going to play for England. Only takes an injury. You know what I mean? Yeah. These players are there, and he could easily, if he was still at Wigan, this wouldn't be a question. And like Paul said there, about these journalists scoffing at the idea. Again, if he's wearing a Wigan shirt, that'd be a decent idea. That'd be a thought. They'd be going, yeah, he could do it. It's because he's at Salford. That's all that is. There's obviously a little bit of bias or whatever there. Why would Salford players be playing for England in a World Cup? A ridiculous idea. No, I think he's spot on with it. I really do. And Joe just needs that time and confidence now to grow again and become that player that he was 2 or 3 years back. And just going on to something that Paul said there about our contact. I said last week against OKR, we weren't aggressive enough. We weren't, our forwards were getting bullied, really. And this week there was none of that. Absolutely none of it. Everything that I wanted from that pack was there the other night. It was controlled aggression. There weren't too many stupid penalties, no swinging shots, nothing stupid. Just proper contact and a tackle. Make the man know when he's been hit first time. They offloaded a little bit too much for me, but they weren't going anywhere because we kept our structure. So overall, I was delighted with that, with the forwards. I wouldn't really want to single too many out, but I got to go for the king. I mean, what a performance he put in. Yeah. He was absolutely magic, and obviously it's against his old team, so a double sort of thing, a win for him in that way. But he was so dominant. Every time he got the ball, he went forward. There was no stopping him. Like we were saying last week about players, when they're hitting the line, they're going down straight away. They're tackled before they are tackled. He was having none of that. You had to fight, and again, during them 10-minute spells where they were down to 12 men, that's not what you want if you're an opposite player. You don't want somebody coming in and just tiring you out. And the amount of times he took the ball in 2 or 3 times in a set. Again, that kind of thing, that's what we've been lacking this year. and it was fantastic to see him and Alex Girard were magnificent going forward, and again, just set up that platform for them backs like Joe Burgess to shine.
Yeah, I was talking King Bunny Ayawa Parker. We'll just go through the stats. We'll start when the meters made this time. Ken Seo 137, Tim Laffey 122, King Bunny Ayawa 214, Ryan Lannon 86, Jack Armour 50, Dion Cross 108, and Wright 68. Paul. So, like you said, like Parker said, King Bunny Ayawa 214. Wow.
Yeah, some of them other lads need to pull the finger out, don't they? 50 and 84. They're letting him do all the work. But no, I thought he's another one. His attitude is absolutely brilliant. Since he's come, every week he's a quality forward. He looks. I mean, my dad gave him the ultimate compliment on Friday night. He looked at me when he made that break and he went, "Do you know what, Paul?" He said, "He reminded me of Colin Dixon." Then when he went through there, and I looked at him, and the last forward he said that about was Ben Murdoch-Masilla. When he was skittling players, he said, "Oh," and that for my dad to say that, and he doesn't. My dad doesn't eat praise on players very often. He's a bit of a perfectionist. He'll moan about something, but he won't always give people praise. But he's really impressed with King Bunny Ayawa, and that must mean he's half decent. So no, I've been really, really impressed with him. And to do 214 metres in a match, I think that's tremendous. And he's an athlete as well. He looks when he comes off. There's nothing of it. There's not an ounce of fat on him. He's an absolute specimen, and I think we've pinched a really good player from Leeds there. I think they've let a really good lad go, and it's our game really. So yeah, very excited for him, and just glad he's in our team, and he seems a really good lad as well.
Yeah, looking at the top tacklers, Alex Girard 36, Brodie Croft 26, Andy Ackers 38, Ian Wright 27, Ryan Lannon 37, and Jack Armour 25. Parky's all the forwards doing a load of work there.
Yeah,
Shane
it's good
Wright,
shift. Yeah, not Ian. Yeah, famously completely different. Yeah, no, great. You mentioned Ryan Lannon there, and I think quite a few of us owe him a bit of an apology. Yeah, Ryan. I know he got sin-binned as he does. And this time, I don't think it was any fault of his own. I don't think it's anything to do with. But that's just going off the topic a little bit. During the game, there were there's comments obviously flying about him, and when you watch the game back, the amount of work he got through, it was unbelievable. He didn't stop, and I kept thinking, that's not him again, and he was on that side, like you say, defending with Brodie and people, he's got a lot of work to do out there. A lot of work. Dion Cross is out there, and obviously Kenny Seo. They're not made. They're not there for the tackling side of things, and he really got stuck in. And I thought there was 2 or 3 times he pulled off real crucial tackles as well when Leeds were getting a bit of momentum. So full credit to him there. But the tackling again. I mean, Andy Ackers, the player we probably don't mention half as much as we should. I thought he played pretty well again the other night, and his defence. I know it's your job when you're a hooker. You're in the middle of the park, and that's there's nowhere for you to go. But he doesn't shirk any of that, and he must. Like he said, he did 30 odd again this week. He must. I'd love to see what he averages. He must be averaging in the 40s every week, and that's with the attacking stuff he's got to do as well. That's some effort. That.
Yeah, I did notice that Ryan Lannon, obviously when Ken Seo went off in the last sort of 10 minutes, he sort of secured that side of the field for me. And in the last couple of minutes, you could see he was running through treacle in the last couple of minutes, but the work had been done there. Paul, obviously he had seen yellow card in the last couple of weeks, but sensational Friday.
Yeah, he was. Seeing him after the game, actually. My daughter had a picture up with him and was having a laugh with him, saying, "You've done well this week, you didn't get a yellow card." But no, he looked absolutely shattered, and he did. He put a massive shift in, I thought, and answered a few of his critics. I mean, I don't always read everything on social media, but I saw a few people say, "What does Ryan Lannon bring to the team?" And I thought, that is really harsh, that. And yeah, people are entitled to their opinions. And for me, when people say stuff like that, the best thing you can do is answer your critics with your performance. And I thought he did. He worked really, really hard there. And that's what he's in the side for. He's not in the side to score hat-tricks of tries and create loads of tries. Ryan Land's in there to work hard, do the tackling, and make the ground going forward. And he did. He was like a sweeper on that side, particularly when Kensio went off. He was brushing up and doing all the hard work and making that side secure, because when you lose somebody on that side, it sort of throws you off kilter sometimes, doesn't it? And the team will go and attack that side, and Leeds did to a certain extent, and he was there mopping it up, and we never got busted on the edges at all.
Yeah, big thanks for your 3-word match reports and man of the matches. I said, boys done good. Girard. Stuart Smart, his man of the match was Joel Burgess. Phil Jones, gutsy, spirited, clinical. King Vuniyayawa. Gary Williams, defence won it. The forwards. Sam Richmond, so much better. King. KDL, Brody Croft, the silent assassin. Chris and Janet Shenton, good second half. Laffey. Paul D, so much better. Cross. Martin, very good win. King. Richard Martin, more like it. King. Richard Andrew, season starts here. King Vuniyayawa. Tori Amarate, what a relief. King. OSF, huge improvement. Cross. Chris Seedhouse, Patience won it. King and / Laffey. I can only have one though, Chris. You can't have both. Stuart Shields, half-back dominant. Girard. Matt Young, attack knees improving. Laffey. Christopher Sloan, forwards were great. King. Laffey. Ryan Martin, dominant in the middle. King. Richard P and his dogs in sale. Liquid Rugby League. King. Mark, fantastic performance. Guts. Laffey. Natalie Taylor, guts and spirit. King. Your mate Paul Roy Ellaby. King Vuniyayawa was his man of the match. Throat still hurts. So did a lot of cheering on Friday. He did, by the sound of it.
Yeah, he does. He sits behind, does him and my dad have got booming voices in that West Ham. They never show up. But who's King Laffey anyway? I'm sure he said King Laffey there.
No, maybe. Well, we can crown him if you want. He's only played a few games, but we can call him the king.
Well, someone said the team as well, didn't it? But I think what's good there is, I mean, you've probably got about half a dozen players there getting mentioned, which just shows you how well the team played. Not everybody's sort of going for the same person. It's being shared around a bit there. So yeah, I think there's an awful lot of players. You could probably give it to anybody really, but the people are getting mentioned there. Yeah, definitely had great games.
It's not my problem this year. Parker needs to make sure he gets the names right for the man of the match and the trophy at the end of the season. So hope you're marking these names down, Parker.
Yeah, making it up as I go along. No, he's strange, and yet Sky's man of the match is Mark Sneyd. And nobody has mentioned him. Now that I think that shows what kind of game everybody else had. I mean, Cross got a few mentions there. Fantastic. He's absolutely faultless, this lad. Really is. He's not put a foot wrong yet. I hope I've not cursed him. I've done that before. Obviously, King, we've mentioned, but it really could have been any of them. It really could. Brody Croft, again, I say that them little touches he's got, that knowledge of knowing where to be and what to do at what time. I can't wait to see him blossom. I want to see more of him. It excites me. What I saw the other night, and I've seen a couple of little bits of recently. And when the forwards get on top, I think we'll see the best of him. But yeah, like Paul said, it's great to see it shared about, and how other people see the game as well. Each individual fan will pick something up that they'll see. Tim Laffey, like I mentioned earlier on, phenomenal game the other night. A real steal, nobody wanted him. He was out of the game. Alex Girard, another free, out of the game. It just shows, doesn't it? These players are there, and give them a chance.
Opportunity Club gives opportunities, Parker. That's the name of the game. That's a podcast bingo. Mark that one down. Arthur Bollard, defence wins games. King V. Andrew, gutsy performance. His man of the match was Burgess, and finally grew into it from Matt. And he's man of the match was Laffey. So fantastic performance against Leeds, and we move forward now to the Challenge Cup, and hopefully we can keep this momentum going. Just before we go on to the news, let's talk about the reserves. Parker, they were away at Wakefield this weekend. They lost 34 points to 12. I'll just go through the team. Callum Green was at fullback. Joe Brady, Miles Harrop was in the centre. Matty Costello was the other centre. Nathan Taylor. Jack Stevens was a standoff. Jody Hughes was scrum half. Connor Tyrrell, Johnny Openshaw, and Dan Spencer Tanks in the front row. Matty Unsworth and Henry Davis were in the second row, and Chris Worrell was at loose forward. On the bench was Lewis Hall, Josh Rourke, Jamie Pike, and Jack Scarlett. Yeah, so they lost 34 points to 12. They took the lead with a try from Jamie Pike, but then obviously just before half time, Wakefield scored, and then just sort of on the buzzer they scored again, and then in the second half they ran away with 4 sort of tries. We scored in the middle of that run with a try from Chris Worrell. Callum Green goaled both attempts, but obviously defeat against Wakefield. Danny Barton's men obviously would be disappointed after taking the lead.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what the Wakefield team look like as well. You know, you mentioned it there. There's only really Matty Costello with any real experience in that lineup, isn't there? You know, and he's you know, realistically, he's still a young lad in experience terms. It's always tough, an away game anyway, isn't it? Especially, you know, going over to Wakefield. But yeah, I think. I don't know. Sometimes you can take the lead too early as well, can't you? I don't know if that's the case in this scenario, but yeah, it's just good experience for the lads that are in there. You know, I mean, I like what I've seen of Jack Stevens. I think he looks a real talent, and you know, players like that, and Worrell. I think he what I've seen of him, he looks like a good kid as well. And it's just about getting them this game time. It's good to have, you know, obviously you don't have the academy as such, but so these lads, this is their opportunity to show us what they have got, to force them, you know, into a first team squad next season. Disappointing result in the end, obviously, but it's probably more about experience for these lads at the moment, more than results. Yeah,
I saw a highlight of one of Wakefield's tries, Paul. Sam Essie from Wakefield is about 8 foot tall and about 8 foot wide, rampaging through our defence. To be fair, the Salford's defence did try their best to take him down, but too big and too strong, crashed over. I think it was just on half time that as well. But they dug in. Johnny Openshaw, the hooker, 20 years old. He was busy around the ruck all night. I've got Miles Harrop. I can't remember his first name, but he was good as well. And Mike Parker said Jack Stevens impressed, and he's certainly there's a name out there. People know that he's coming through, and if he gets nurtured, he could be the next talent.
Yeah, Jack Stevens looked good when I've seen him, you know, playing for the first team, and he's been in the friendly games. I think he's a special player and got a really cracking pair of hands on him. A good rugby league brain. His body's probably still developing. He's not the biggest yet, is he? But you know, some lads don't put loads and loads of size on it. It doesn't really make any difference, that. And I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll fill out a little bit, but he'll gain experience as well. And that's what the reserve team's good about. You playing against decent size, decent opposition. Like Pike said, I don't know who's in that Wakefield side, but you probably find there's quite a few first teamers in there. So this is doing them the world of good. This now, you know, getting the body strong, getting themselves tough. You know, you're only going to get that toughness by playing matches, aren't you? Gaining that experience, you know, going away from home and playing at these grounds. So yeah, Jack Stevens is a quality player. I'm sure he's going to have a good career, and let's hope it's at Salford as well. Let's hope we nurture him, we don't lose him, and we can see him blossom at our club along with some of these other young players as well. And like last week, we signed 4 Welsh lads, wasn't it? Four players from there, so they're coming into our system as well. I think it's great to see at the moment. You know, I think the under-16s were playing tonight, weren't they? I don't know how they've gone on, but it's great to see so many young people, you know, playing, you know, for the Salford club.
Yeah, look at the stats. We've got kilometres made. Callum Green made 8.8 kilometres. John Openshaw made 8.49 kilometres. Henry Davis 8.1 kilometre, and Miles Harrop made 7.86 kilometres. The average of a rugby league player, they say, is between 6 and 7.2 kilometres Parker. So they ran all day, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, what's that in old money?
I know.
I'm a miles man. No, yeah, it's. Yeah, no, they do. I mean, the first one you mentioned, you say you did 8 something.
8.8 kilometres, Callum Green.
That's some effort. It really is some effort. And I dare say a lot of that, looking at the result, would have been in defence. having to go backwards and forwards. It's not easy to do. But it does bode well if these lads have got that in them, in the tank, and to stay in a game for as long as they can. It's quite a lot, that, actually, thinking about it. I mean, I'm just trying to work it out in my head now, but that's quite a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of graft. I've also got positive action / power plays, which is basically any kind of positive sort of tackle or break or positive action which occurred. Miles Harrop had 59 positive actions, Callum Green with 57, Henry Davis with 53, and Jack Stevens with 46. Paul. So yeah, they seem like they were running and they were giving everything they've got, which is all you can ask for as a supporter.
Yeah, I was trying to work out that kilometres before. I think 8 kilometres is about 5 miles. So that's not a bad going, that, in 80 minutes. So, yeah, it sounds like they're working out. And as I said before, they're learning all the time, aren't they? Learning the tricks of the trade and how to play. And there's no substitute for, like, sort of experience and gain your apprenticeship as well and playing at a good level. So, I think as the season goes on and they play these other sides in the reserves, they're going to learn things and they're going to come together as a team. And when they do get that opportunity to step up, for the first team, I'm sure they'll take it. But I am so pleased that we've got a reserve team because I think it's providing. I know we've not got, a Category 1 academy like some of the other clubs, but we're making the best of what we've got, and we've got people, as I said before, playing for our club, representing our club. So it's all good, and we've got some talented kids there. I mean, you've got to go back to that Warrington game, the testimonial game for Lee Mossop, and most of those players played in that game, and they stood up and were counted, and they really impressed me that night. So we've got some talent there, we really have.
Yep. So that's the review of both the games this week. And now we're going to look at all the big news coming out of the club this week. So we'll start with the Supporters Trust meeting that happened last night. Compared by our very own Paul Parkin. Parker, how was it for you?
It was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it. It was a little... nerve-wracking, I suppose, but no, it was a really good night. Well attended. I've got to say, the players, both the gents and the ladies, are a credit to the club. They really are. Some real personality in there, and just chatting to them, just trying to get a little bit of info about them and how they got into the game and that kind of thing. And they were all brilliant, all really responsive. Very honest, and it was a good night. Yeah, I know they made. At the end of the day, this is what it's all about. They made some really good money last night as well, a surprising amount, and that's the main thing, obviously, because that money then he's given over back to the club, and we can go out and sign hopefully another 3 or 4 young Welsh players in the future, or whoever else is coming through. I know they handed over a cheque last night for $6,000. So that takes it up to, I think, $28,000 in just over a year given to the club from, these people work so tirelessly. It's tremendous, what they do for the club in their own time. And no, it was good. And it was quite an honour to be asked. Obviously, I stepped in for Mr. Whiteside. I hope I did him proud. I know he was away skiving somewhere, in some posh hotel or something. I'm not sure, but left me holding the baby. But no, it was a really good night, and I've got to say, like I said, the players were fantastic. And finding a bit more about the ladies and how they've settled and how they're progressing. It's so professional. This isn't, I got Paul King up for a brief chat, and he said, it's not a box ticking exercise. It's not, yes, we've got a ladies team. Yes, we will have a disabilities team. Yes, we will have it. He wants the best. And this is not a joke. This is, he wants these guys in Super League in a couple of years' time when they get the first chance to be in there. And you can see the difference in the club and everything about it. And then I got to chat to Matt Carr as well, the new safeguarding officer. What a gentleman he is. The workload he's got, I really don't envy him. he explained last night, and I still can't get my head around most of it, but what he has to do. And obviously, you saw Friday night for them kids there. I mean, what an effort from the club that was, by the way. They need a massive pat on the back for that, because them kids, they helped create an atmosphere the other night, which rarely happens when you just bring thousands of kids in. It was so well done, so well orchestrated. And he's obviously a massive part of that. And his role is so in depth. And he was telling us how far we are along now. And, you know, we're up there with the best in rugby league at what we do. And you know, the buy-in from the club to make this work. And he was fantastic. It was just a really good night all round. And there's some characters at this club. And I really, it felt like there was a spirit. So yeah, it was a good night.
It's up and down a bit. Paul Parky wants your job.
He's got it. I think he's got, from what I've heard, he's got the gig. He's better than me, so he can have it. He can have the job. I wasn't in a posh hotel, by the way. I was in a.
He was keeping the economy going. That's what he's doing.
Box standard. Yeah, he's back. They're having me all over the place. I've got my van back today. I've been in a hire van for 2 months, so while my van was getting repaired, so I've been all over the place, literally all over the place. But I've been down in Warwick today to pick a brand new van up, which I brought all the way back, and I've just been to see my original van, what I got today, and it's a mess. They've took the engine out and everything. They've wrote it off, so I'm in a new van now. I'm all sorted, and I'm ready to go after all my travel. I've been doing like 1,000 miles a week. Something daft. So yeah, we're doing all right. But no, I believe from what I saw, that the pictures and what have you, when I got a brew today, I was looking at the photos, and it looked a cracking night at the Dog and Partridge. Good pub in it, you know, Dennis down there and everybody, and it just looked really good. And you know, Matt Carr, as you said, we spoke to Matt, haven't we, a few times. He seems a really good fella. You got the ladies who were there as well, Shane Wright and Sam Luckley. Does Shane Wright and Sam Luckley, do they house share together, them two? Am I right?
Yes, a little bird tells me they stick together like glue.
Yeah,
like Mr. and Mrs. these days. So that's good. I mean, I asked the Aussie guys about some of the quirks that they found since they came over here. You know, a little bit away from rugby league. What's different? What makes you think these Brits are a bit mad, or you know, whatever catches you out? And Brodie Croft said that one of the things was that we all live in brick houses, which is something he's not used to in Australia. And I thought, well, that's okay. But they both mentioned the accents.
Right.
And Shane Wright said they went to the first sort of pre-season meeting with Rolls and everybody else, and they came out and he hadn't a clue what had been said. And then it sort of picked up that you're living with Sam Luckley, who, as a Geordie, most of us won't understand.
Yeah.
So how was he getting on? He obviously, I mean, they look like, say, you could see that bond there and a bit of a laugh, and yeah, it was good to see. But yeah, they house share, and they certainly bounced off each other a little bit.
Surprised he's not a silent monk now with all that going on. Obviously, looking at the details coming out of the meeting, Paul, £6,000 donated to the Reds Development Fund. They talked about these Welsh lads that have come through. Finn Yates, he's 17, he's a hooker, played for the Welsh under-17s. Scott Pritchard, he's 17, he captains the Welsh under-16s team. Billy Walkley, 17, halfback, he was captain of the Welsh team at under-18. And Connor Lag, prop forward, 16. He's 17, but he was a prop forward in the 16s. So this Welsh link-up paying dividends now.
Oh, it certainly is, yeah. I mean, you saw the lads the other week and saw the pictures of them on I think it was on social media, where it had a picture of them with the parents in the background signing the contracts and things like that. And those things players are going to remember forever. And do you know what? I was just daydreaming yesterday at work and just thinking about things. And I thought, do you know what? This last 12 months or so, the club just seems to have gone like that in professional terms. Everything is being run so well. And someone said to me a few years ago, when I think it was when our previous owner was there, said to me, that club you support is tin pot. And it hurt me big time. And I thought, do you know what? You can't say that anymore. You cannot
No.
say that anymore about the way Salford's being run. It is being run absolutely tremendous. Like you've just mentioned there about the kids at the game. How well all that was run. We've got a guy there looking after him, a safeguarding officer. You're getting a ladies team in there. You've got a reserves team. You can carry on naming the players that we're bringing in. You know, the young players and the people who are getting involved. We're not tin pot anymore, Robert. I mean, you know, I think things are going really, really well at Salford, off the field at the moment. We've got a good win against Leeds. I mean, it's not all about off the field. You've got to get the results on it. But I think what's happening at the moment is foundations are being built, and what probably should have been built a long time ago, years ago. But now it finally feels like, you know, we're not just going to be a flash in the pan and just have one good season here and there. We might be building for the future, and I think that's the great thing to see. And it is exciting. It is exciting what things are happening at the moment. And you can see that. I was reading something in the League Express. I think Martin Sadler wrote in the League Express just how impressed he was with what's going on at Salford. Other clubs are taking note. The attendances as well. The attendances are slowly creeping. I mean, they're not massive. They can't like be shouting the rooftops, but they go in the right direction, aren't they? And other people from other clubs are noticing this. And no, it's putting a smile on my face anyway.
Yeah, over £800 sort of raised on the night as well, which is fantastic. So like we said, we always say, get involved with the Supporters Trust. I think it's £10, £5 to join, you know, be part of it, and it's great. Other news, Wigan away travel is available. Community run, £13 a seat at Parquet. Contact Dennis Rowley on 0757 663 1944 or Patrick Dempsey on 07885 882045. Hopefully, we'll get a decent following at Wigan, because obviously it's a cup game and we all dream about that Challenge Cup victory.
Yeah, the two names you mentioned there as well, both putting their money where their mouth is in many ways, as well as sponsoring players and putting money into the club. So, you know, if you are thinking of going, and you know you want to leave the car at home, give them a call, get on board with them, because I'm sure they'll look after you. Dennis again last night, by the way, just going back to the meeting was fantastic. He got control of everybody and made life a lot easier for me. So yeah, two decent lads who are gonna, obviously the money's gonna go round in circles, really go back into the club. So and it's nice to have that option. Let's be honest. I was only thinking today about getting there on Friday night, and it's just nice for it to be there, because the amount of times where we've had no away travel. And you've got to meet your own way. It can be a bit of a nightmare, but yeah, it'd be good to get a good turnout. Back the lads again, and we do anyway. We always, we always follow well, really, don't we, for our numbers, which is more than can be said for certain clubs. One of which was with us on Friday night. I think as Salford fans, I think percentage of fans we take away from what we have at home is really high, and probably higher than most in rugby league. So yeah, I'm sure we'll be there and certainly be loud and proud. And yeah, so if you are thinking of going and fancy a drink or out like that, obviously give Dennis a call.
Yep, the Rising Star campaign has started again, Paul, for boys and girls. 12th of April if you're in year 6, year 7 it's 10:30 to 12, and if you're in year 8 and year 9 it's 1 p.m. to 2:30, and on the 14th of April if you're in year 6 and year 7 it's 10:30 to 12, and if you're in year 8 and year 9 it's 1 p.m. to 2:20 p.m. But it's obviously a great opportunity if you're obviously in school and you're looking to get into rugby league, to have this pathway into the sport is fantastic.
Is that half term, that, Rob? Those
I think so.
weeks, is it? God, I didn't realise half term was coming again. Yeah, it is. It's just echoing what I said before. It's another thing that Salford are doing in the community, isn't it? And the way everything's going at the moment, giving kids the option to play rugby league, getting people involved in the sport. I think it's tremendous. So we should have had something like that when I was in year 8 and year 9. It'd been, even though I wasn't very good at rugby league, to be honest with you, but couldn't really catch the ball. But no, sounds good. Sounds exciting, that.
Saying that, I've seen you step Dixon and go, so I think you might have made the cut.
I don't know. My pace isn't that good. I think he was having a slow day there. He's murdered me last couple of times.
But there's obviously the success stories. Connor Aspey, Park, he went through that process. Jack Stevens, who's currently in the reserves, he went through. Gabrielle Kaplan, she's in the ladies' side. So it shows to the people who want to get sort of involved and join this process that there is a pathway straight to the team.
Yeah, very much so. I had the pleasure. Gabby was one of the girls last night that I got to talk to, along with Megan and Helena, and I bumped into Lucy as well as I was leaving. But yeah, and you listen to the story and you ask, how did you get into the game? And these are the pathways that we need. We just need to get people. Rugby league's one of them sports where some people are right to play the game. Some people are right to watch it. Whichever one you do, you love. You just fall in love with it. And it's just about getting people involved, get the kids involved. What happened on Friday night, bringing the crowds in, will help. As long as we carry on and track that and make sure, we get the chance to get them back. But to introduce them to the game, to get them to play. Because, still in so many schools, it's not played. Or it's not taken seriously, and this is the club are doing everything they can to get people involved. And like I say, you go down, these kids can have a go. If it's not for them, but it might be the fact that they want to watch the game or get involved in a different way. There's so many avenues into rugby league these days. But no, you can't fault the club, can you, for what they do and the effort they put in. And I hope it's a big success. I hope they get a good turnout.
Yeah. Other news, VX3 Apparel have their heritage range available. I know, Paul, you're not that bothered about jerseys and merch, but Parky is. Shirts, hoodies, polos, Parky, impressed?
Yeah. Well, it was threatened last year or the year before, a heritage range with a previous kit designer or whatever. But it's funny, again, the lad I was talking to today, we mentioned VX3 and how good they are. It's another one of these arms to the club that things are going right. We're getting this right. They're bringing out new rates. It's not, there's your kit at the start of the year. That's what you've got. Once it's gone, it's gone. And there's nothing else. There you go. I'll get an advertising it. It's brilliant. And heritage range. Why? Because I don't buy a replica shirt anymore. I don't particularly like the designs and that kind of thing. But they give you another option now.
Mm.
They will some way empty my wallet. That's what they've got to. This is what we need. We've not had this for years. We've got this range now of whether it's the actual club merch or, I mean, again, we said the other week about the Magic Weekend shirt. The amount of people I've spoken to who've got it, and one of the big selling points was the T-shirt they got with it. Do you know what a great idea? People are getting 2 tops for the price of 1. It's just another. It's all, like Paul said, it's scarily professional. But it is. It's a shock for most Salford fans. Let's be honest. We've not had it the best over the years. But no. Again, another range to come out. So again, if anyone's, I'll certainly wear it if anyone's going to buy it.
I knew the plug had come. I was waiting. Has it turned your head, Paul?
Yeah, I've seen some of the merchandise. I've got my T-shirt on tonight.
It is.
So that's got like all the names on it and the season ticket holders. I don't know where I got this from. I tell you where I got this T-shirt from. There's a story behind this T-shirt. I didn't pay for it.
Oh, right.
Oh, here we go.
Remember at the Magic Weekend last year?
Yeah.
When we went to the Magic Weekend, somebody put this shirt on the statue of Bobby Robson outside the ground. And someone jumped on the statue and went, "Oh, you can't put that on there. It's sacrilege sort of thing." So this Hull supporter took it off and he gave it to me on the way. He went, "You're a Salford fan, right? You take this T-shirt with you." So I got this for free. So I don't know who put it on Bobby Robson, but I've ended up with it. But yeah, I think that the heritage range is really good. And I was talking to one of my dad's friends on on Friday night about the Magic Weekend shirt, and he said the only reason why he bought it was so he could get that free T-shirt with it, because the T-shirt was really nice. He said, I don't really like the Magic Weekend shirt, but I wanted the T-shirt, so that's a no-brainer, isn't it?
I'm beginning to think I'm the only one who's not getting stuff for free here, which is weird. Really. But there we go. Yeah, so if you're interested, Heritage stuff is there. Go and buy it. Great stuff. Final bit of news before we finish the news section, Parker. I'm going to talk about the Ghanaian Rugby League Nines Championship. The Akarara Panthers are in that, and the women's team have won the championship, playing in the Salford Red Devils shirt. They went through the season undefeated, scored the most tries. They were christened the Entertainers. And obviously our link up with Ghana paying off for them as well.
Yeah, again, Paul King mentioned it last night. Obviously, he's saying about, we got the link with the Welsh, and that's bearing fruit. And he said, for the next few years, the Ghanaian side of it will also click in. And I hope Paul doesn't send me any nasty emails, but he has got another announcement to make soon, which he mentioned last night. So I don't want to say anything, because I don't know if he didn't mean to let it slip or whatever. He did say it in a room full of people, to be fair to him, but
and you were priving him. You were probing him as well.
Yeah, he was a bit Frost Nixon at times. No, just look out for the next link up, because again, I think we're going to be impressed. But no, again, another thing the club have done, another arm to the club. But no, well done to him. Well done. It's good to see us lifting silverware in that kit, because I know it's the grand final kit, wasn't it, from 2019? I think they've got at the moment, and sadly we couldn't lift anything in it. But it's good to see, and I hope the game keeps growing there. I really do. It seems like there's a real appetite in both men's and women's sport over there. So fingers crossed, it bears some fruit for us.
Yeah, with the Accra Panthers ladies winning the championship, Paul, Chris Bates will be knocking on Ian Bleasy's door looking for a cheeky scouting session to see if he can bring anyone over before the season starts.
Yeah. Well, why not? Why not? It's been a bit warmer over there. Mind you, we can't say it's been warm over here recently, so it's not been bad. But no, yeah, and as you say, that kit that they've got on, probably one of my favourite Salford shirts of recent years. It's a belting kit that one they won in the grand final. But no, a good bit of news that, and yeah, again, another good news story. We've been littered by him, and like Parker said there, it shocks me how professional the club has been, because over the years you've like, blooming heck, we're so unprofessional. We moan about this and that, and you can't moan about anything at the moment, because touch wood, everything's sort of running like clockwork, innit? And everything looks really stable off the field, which we've not really been able to say over the last sort of decade or so. So yeah, things are looking good, and it's an exciting times to be a Salford supporter, isn't it, at the moment?
It is. So that's all the big news coming out of the club this week, and now we're going to look at what's happening in the world of rugby league with Paul. So that was Paul's rugby league.
Here is this week's Devil in Detail Amateur Report and Life Outside the Top Flight Report as well, where we talk about all the other business in rugby league. We'll start off with the National Conference Leagues. It's round 3, just gone at the weekend. Rochdale Mayfield beat Egremont Rangers by 36 points to 26. They were trailing 20-12 at half time, but a good second half fight back from Mayfield got them their second win of the season. In Division 1, Saddleworth Rangers 6, Alton Raiders 14. Oldham St Anne's went down in Division 3. They were beaten at 28 points to 16 at Millom. And Waterhead Warriors 18, Hensingham 30. The fixtures for this week, Saturday the 26th of March. In the Premier Division, Rochdale Mayfield travel to Wathbrow Hornets. In Division 1, Stanningley face Saddleworth Rangers. And in Division 3, both our Oldham sides are away from home. Oldham St Anne's travel to Bentley, and Waterhead Warriors go to East Leeds. Moving on to the North West Men's League, Division 1 on Saturday. Bury Broncos 26, Hindley 26, Ulverston 18, Folly Lane 12. In Division 2, Cadishead Rhinos 66, Wigan St Pat's a 10. Roost Pioneers 38, West Horton Lions 24, Salford City Roosters 16, Wigan Springview 52. The fixtures for this week, Saturday the 26th of March, it's cup action. In the cup, it's Folly Lane against Dalton, Latchford Albion face Bury Broncos. In the trophy, Pilkington Rex A face West Horton Lions. In the Shield, Oral St James A are at home to Waterhead Warriors A. Liverpool Lions face Langworthy Reds. Bolton Mets are at home to Ashton Bears A. Oldham St Anne's A face Preston and South Ribble Rabbit O's, and Higginshaw face the Garswood Stags A. In Student Rugby League, Salford were beaten last Wednesday 60 points to 0 against UClan. In College Rugby League, Warrington 28, Hotwood Hall 12. And the fixtures for this week, in the College Rugby League, it's Hull FC against Salford Red Devils, and in the North West 1, it's Cowley Sixth Form against Salford Red Devils A. In the North West Youth, in the Under-18s Premier Division, Blackbrook Blues 32, Waterhead Warriors 10. That was a match played on Saturday the 19th of March. Some other results for you. In Division 1, Folly Lane 4, West Horton 54, that is the Under-16s. Also in Under-16s action, Rochdale Mayfield 34, South Trafford Raiders 12. The fixtures for this week, Sunday the 27th of March, in the Premier Division of the Under-18s, Waterhead Warriors are at home to Saddleworth Rangers. In Division 1, Salford City Roosters face Roost Pioneers. Division 2, Langworthy Reds are at home to Wigan St Cuthberts. In the Under-16s, Division 1, South Trafford Raiders are at home to Crossfields. Thatto Heath Crusaders face Folly Lane. West Horton Lions are at home to Hindley. Division 2 of the Under-16s, Halton Farm with Hornets Green play Saddleworth Rangers. Waterhead Warriors are at home to Shevington Sharks, and Salford City Roosters are at home to Hindpool Tigers. Well, finally this week we'll have a look at what's been happening outside the world of Super League. In the Betfred Championship, it was round 6 at the weekend. Barrow Raiders 18, London Broncos 18. Batley Bulldogs got a fantastic result. They drew at home to Featherstone Rovers. Featherstone were top of the shop with 5 wins from 5. Batley Bulldogs though 20, Featherstone Rovers 20 was the final score. Late try for Featherstone, got them a draw actually for that game, so unlucky to Batley, but a great result all the same. Dewsbury Rams 22, Newcastle Thunder 24, Whitehaven 6, Sheffield Eagles 44. Chris Wellham and Ben Jones Bishop and Chris Wellham, 2 former Salford players, going over for tries there for Sheffield Eagles. Big win for Sheffield. They've started to climb the table now and they've got into the playoff spots. Workington Town 12, Bradford Bulls 26, York City Knights 32, Widnes Vikings 6. And it was a Betfred Challenge Cup match last Monday. I think I give this one out for you, but Bradford Bulls 16, Leeds Centurions 20. The fixtures for this week is Challenge Cup action again. There was a match on Monday night in the Championship. Leeds Centurions won away at Halifax. I think it was 26-16 that one it finished. The fixtures in the Challenge Cup though this week, Friday the 25th of March, as we'll talk about in the podcast, Wigan Warriors face Salford Red Devils with a 7:35 kickoff. On Saturday, Catalan Dragons play Featherstone Rovers. That's a 3:30 kickoff at European time. Hull Kingston Rovers face Leeds Centurions at 3 o'clock. On the BBC at 4:30, Leeds Rhinos play Castleford Tigers. So at the Millennium Stadium, Featherstone, Sheffield Eagles are at home to Hull. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff. Whitehaven plays St Helens. That is on the Sportsman at 2 o'clock. There's a Betfred League One game also on Saturday at 3 o'clock. That's London Scholars against Hunslet. The rest of the action is on Sunday. Betfred Challenge Cup. Barrow face Huddersfield on the BBC at 4:30. Warrington play Wakefield at 2 o'clock. That's on Premier Sports. There's a Betfred Championship clash between Workington and Halifax. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff. And League One gets underway. Betfred League One, Doncaster face the Midlands Hurricanes. Oldham play Keighley Cougars. That's on the Our League app. Rochdale Hornets are at home to North Wales Crusaders. And finally, Swinton Lions play the West Wales Raiders. So good luck to our local sides in Betfred League One. It should be a really good league, that. The Super League at the moment, Saints are top, Catalan second, Wigan third, Huddersfield fourth, Hull 5th and Warrington 6th. Toulouse are bottom, but they had a fantastic win against St Helens last week, 22 points to 20. In the Championship, Featherstone Rovers are still top, Barrow 2nd, and Leeds Centurions are up there as well. So that's all I've got for you this week. Take care, have a good week, and enjoy the Cup at weekend.
Preview, and now we'll preview both games this week for both men and women. So we'll start with the men. Parky, Wigan Warriors in the Challenge Cup away will be a tough contest.
Yeah, look, if you could have made the draw yourself, there'd only be a couple of teams you'd have wanted to avoid, and certainly away from home, and Wigan would have been one of them. They seem to be going along okay at the moment. I don't think we need to fear them as such. I don't think this is a great Wigan side by any means. I think they can be got at. Sadly, we're going to be missing a couple of players who picked up knocks last week. But I think we've got a decent chance. I really do. I think the confidence that the Leeds game would have beaten us, taking one of the... I know Leeds aren't having a great time, but they are a big scalp. No matter what you think, every year, Leeds Rhinos are going to be up and around the playoffs, you generally think. So the confidence from that will have helped us. And the only thing that does worry me is Wigan's record at home. It's really impressive, isn't it? They rarely lose a game, but it is the cup. Anything can happen. But yeah, I think if we click, we can do a number on them. We've just got to keep Jai Field, out of the game, because he's so dangerous. What a player! I mean, I think he only managed about 4 appearances last year due to injury, didn't they? And they could have certainly done with him. They've got a big set of forwards, which will cause us problems. But if we stand up like we did on Friday, that doesn't worry me. Our back line is superb. Yeah, there'll be no Kenny Seo, we know that. But Reece Williams comes in. Probably I would have thought. And it's his turn to make it, to shine and make a statement and say, well, how'd you leave me out? So I think that's okay. We know that the experience he's got and the speed he's got. So that's... Is he as good as Kenny Seo? Probably not. But he's not a bad understudy, let's say that. So... No, I think we've got a decent chance. I think we just got to turn up. We were speaking to the players last night, and it was drummed home by a few people asking questions about what the Challenge Cup means to us as fans, and especially to the 2 Aussie lads. Did they understand, what it meant, what the cup was all about? And they certainly did get it, and it's something the club and the team had spoken about. So. Yeah, I think it'd be a good game. I know it's being televised, isn't it, by Premier Sport this week? Yeah, I think that, the Rugby League will get to see us, and I just hope it is an entertaining game, which I think it will be, and we've certainly got a chance.
Yeah, lots of star talent in that Wigan Warriors team. Paul, Zach Hardacre, Thomas Luluai, John Maitman. These are all proven sort of internationals. We're a sort of a training team in transition, but we've got some sort of good players as well. So I don't think we should be kind of overawed going into this game.
No, I wouldn't be overawed, but they're a tough team to play against, Wigan, aren't they? They don't seem to give a lot away. They're hard to break down. They're hard to score points against. They're very physical, and they do tend to grind results out, don't they? And, they've been accused of that a few times over the years, not being the most exciting team, but, they're a difficult team. Liam Farrell's a player who I always look out for, who pops up with an awful amount of tries for a second row, man. Jai Field, as you've mentioned before, they've got some pace on the wings, haven't they? Liam, is it Marshall? Liam Marshall? Marshall, isn't it? Marshall, yeah, he's a decent winger. So they've got some good backs as well. Tommy Luluai still playing as well, and he's knocking on a bit now, but very experienced. And they've got aggression in that pack as well, haven't they? Some young lads in there. Is it Partington and Liam Byrne and Havard, I think his name is as well. So, and Smithers, they've got some good forwards there. So it'll be a test. It'll be a big test for us now. They've started the season pretty well, but they've shown a bit of vulnerability as well. They were humbled in France, weren't they? 28-0 by Catalan. So there is ways you can beat them. And Paul Rowley will know that. He'll have studied that and seen flaws in the game. So yeah, it's an intriguing one. It's a cup tie. It's one-off game as well.
Yeah, Matt Peat, the coach at Park, he kind of come through the Wigan system. I've always thought Wigan go for big names. And do you think it's kind of a risk for him coming through rather than going out and getting someone?
Well, I know he's his name above the door, if you like, but there's a team there, isn't there? I know he's got Lee Breers and I think there's 4 or 5 of them all involved. It's quite a convoluted system, I think. But one thing he has done, he has changed the way Wigan play. Like Paul was saying there, they've been very sort of conservative over the last few years. Under Adrian Lamb, they didn't play expansive rugby. They just grind you down. And now they're trying to play a different way. I think they do spread the ball a little bit more than they did, which then will give up teams like ourselves a chance, because they were so tight. I mean, the defense was very mean over the last couple of years. I think they've changed that style a little bit, and like us, like what Rolls says, let's just play what you see. And Phil Clark said the other week, you're going to break a few eggs if you're going to make an omelette. You know what I mean? It's going to happen, and you are going to make mistakes if you're going to play that way. And I think that's happening to Wigan at the moment. I think that's why he's seeing this change, and it's going to take time for a lot of their players to get used to, because they've not brought many in this year as well. They're pretty much same as they were last year. So it is going to be tough. They have got a lot of good players, and going to Wigan's never easy. But I think with that change of style, and it being a cup game, maybe a little bit more freedom. Oh, sorry about that. I think I still think we've got a decent chance.
Score prediction off you, Paul.
Wigan 10, Salford 11.
10-11. Who's the drop goal?
Chris Atkin.
Okay. Parky, what's your score prediction?
I think there might be a few points. I'm going to go Wigan 22, Salford 24.
Sorry, what was it? Wigan?
22, Salford 24.
22-24, Salford.
Yeah.
I'm going to go close game. I'm going to go Wigan 16, Salford 22. And Croft score the winner for Salford. Sends us through to the next round. So let's talk about the ladies now. Parky, they face Featherstone Lionesses in the League Cup away from home. Be a tough contest for them. The Featherstone Lionesses are the reigning league champions, so it'll be a big test for the ladies this week.
Yeah, very much so. Having the pleasure of speaking to the girls last night, I don't hold any fear of anybody. I think the way they come across, the professionalism, the way they train, it just seems they're already a Super League team. Our ladies, I may be jumping the gun, but I think they're well up for it. They're not scared of anybody. And the thing is, because it's all new as well, they have no fear. They don't, it's just another team for them to go and knock over. And they were absolutely buzzing. And I think there's that much confidence there of previous results. There's no reason why they can't turn them over. Fev will be tough. They're, a proper rugby league town, innit? Let's be honest. There's no messing about. And I don't know if they're going to get to play at Post Office Road. That in itself is an experience. It certainly has been as a fan. So as a player, I'm sure it will be. But I don't think they need fear anymore. I really don't. I think they look well keyed up for it. And the other thing that came across was the excitement they feel about it. They can't wait for the next game now. It seems, they want more and more. And they're just planning ahead now and get this season done and get on with the real thing next year. And then, 2 years' time, Super League probably, if they carry on at the rate they're doing. So, this is another stepping stone. They want to go on and win this cup. Got to knock these guys over. And, it's an away trip to that deepest, darkest Yorkshire. But I've no reason. I've got full confidence in the girls.
Yeah, they've got some good players, Featherstone. Captain Nicole Austin, she's one to look out for. Evie Simpson, she's a vice captain. Nyla Morris, big prop forward. Lots of goal forward from her. Danny McNeil, sorry, she's a second row. So it's going to be tough. Obviously, we've got Vicky Kinney in our forwards and Vanessa Hadley. They'll obviously be looking to put a challenge up there against Paul.
Yeah, they certainly will. They certainly will, and it's a tough place to go there. As you said, they both said they're an established club, aren't they, Featherstone now in ladies rugby league. So it's another test, and I think it was disappointing for the ladies. They didn't get a run out at the weekend. It was against Widnes, wasn't it? And I think they all wanted to play in that game, and for one reason or other, they couldn't. So let's hope they'll take that frustration into this game now. Because when you're playing well and you've got that team spirit and that bond, you just want to be out there every week playing, don't you? So I think they're going to take that into this week, and this will be another test for them. But you know, up to now, they've passed the test, so I'm expecting them to do really well once again.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Hopefully, Louise Fellingham and Di Jones, inspired against Wigan a couple of weeks ago. Parky obviously looking for more of the same against Featherstone this week.
Yeah, and like you say, I mean, Paul's just made a point there that when you're winning, you're full of confidence. You can't wait, and confidence is it's a big thing. It's I'm not saying that's the case here, but in many times it's brought the underdog through because they've got on that roll. I mean, we see what we did in 2019. Nobody expected that. Sorry, and I think at the moment, like I say, that spirit was there last night, and everything you hear about them. It's exciting. It's great to see, and these girls are taking this really serious. This isn't just a pastime. This isn't something they've picked up as a bit of a fad. They're targeting big things, and this is the next stepping stone.
Does Chris Bates, Paul, shuffle his pack? Because last game they won 42-0, so it was a great performance by the ladies. So does he? Do you think he goes with the same team, or do you think he kind of mixes it up?
I'd probably say go with the same team now. If you don't fix something, it's not broke, do you? If you've won 42 now, you probably go with a similar sort of side. He might want to change things around and give other people a run as well. But I would, if it was me, I'd probably be going with a similar side. It's a cup game as well. You want to win the game, don't you? So I would have thought he'd keep faith with the players that done him proud in the last game.
Okay, prediction time, Parky. What do you think?
I think we'll go there and roll. I really do. I'm going to say Fev 8, Salford 26.
26. Paul, what do you think? What's your prediction?
Featherstone 10, Salford 20.
Yeah. Featherstone's 10.
Salford 20.
20. 10, 20. I'm going to go. You know what they say? They say rhythm is an answer. McKeown is the answer. So I'm going to go Salford to win. It'd be Featherstone 16, Salford 44. McKeown hat-trick. Write that down.
Just going off what you said there about changing the team, I think there's plenty of time for that this season because they've got friendlies. You know what I mean? This is the real thing, really. It'd be nice to go in the first season, even just to get close to a final. So yeah. I don't think Chris needs to change the team at all. And I think later in the season, and we are going to get lots of chances, by the way, to see the girls this season. I know Paul King mentioned last night that they've got several games lined up where they're going to be on before the men's games this season. So that's fantastic. We're going to get more chance to see the girls. But yeah, I play your strongest team. Let's get the job done.
Yeah. So that's the end this week's podcast. Park End, another good show.
Yeah, fantastic. It's easy, isn't it, when you've come off the back of a win like we did last week. Let's hope we can do the same again next week, and we can talk for another 7 hours or whatever we've been on.
Okay. Big thank you this week's Devil in Detail podcast. Ara Paxson, you can find us on Facebook, Devil in Detail SRD. You can find us on Twitter at DITDSRD. And you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Radio Contact, Spotify, and YouTube. See you next week.